So hello, welcome to class this evening. This is a restorative and yoga nidra class. So what you're going to want to gather are a few props and things to help you settle into the poses. So I would recommend grabbing maybe a pillow, a bolster if you've got one, at least one. If you have multiple, go ahead and bring them over. Another couple of things, at least one blanket or towel. Or a couple of those as well. It's kind of up to you and your comfort as to how many things you grab. I just like having all the options so I can make choices later. Another thing that would be helpful are yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, no need to panic. A couple of thick hardcover books are usually great as well. I think that'll be mostly it for props. Optionally, you could also grab something you could use as an eye pillow. So if you've got an eye pillow, great. I take a reusable cloth bag and I fill it with rice, and that's my eye pillow. But again, entirely up to you. You are also going to want to think about the space that you're in. Yoga Nidra is a practice that for some people can induce sleep. So if you're okay with falling asleep, you can, keep the lights dim, get extra cozy. But if you're looking to hope to stay awake throughout the yoga nidra process, which there's no right or wrong as far as that goes, you're still going to be able to absorb some of that information. You might consider leaving the lights on or keeping a light on in the room, like a lamp or something, just to help promote wakefulness. Again, entirely up to you. This is your practice. And I do want to say everything that I say tonight is simply an offering. You can choose to take it or leave it. If there's a particular posture that I offer that you're like, hell no, my body isn't doing that, that's totally fine. You can take another option. For the most part, I'm going to be talking you through postures. I'm not going to be demoing myself, just so I can kind of keep an eye on the screen and help cue you as needed. For tonight's class, I'm also going to be reading from a book that you can kind of see here if my background doesn't get in the way, called The Radiant Sutras. It's a ancient tantric text translated by Lauren Roche. So as we settle into postures, you'll hear me reading a bit to you. And they're really just words for you to listen to. If you enjoy the poetry and you like the meaning, awesome. If it's just sound in the background, that's totally fine too. So for our first posture this evening, we're going to get settled into child's pose. So I would encourage you to take your knees wide and your big toes come to touch. And then you'll send your seat back towards your heels and settle down towards the mat. In order to make this posture more restorative, you may consider having a blanket underneath the knees, maybe a bolster underneath your torso for you to lay down on. Totally fine, whichever option you choose. Perhaps something to rest your head on as you settle in. And as you settle into this first posture for the evening, start to notice your breath. Noticing each inhale and each exhale. Maybe starting to get a sense of how the breath animates the body in this posture. In restorative yoga, we often hold postures for anywhere from 2 to even 15, 20 minutes. If we're settling in for a really long hold, I'll be sure to let you know. But I would encourage you as you settle in for the first minute or so, allow yourself to fidget, to rearrange, to settle. That way you can spend the rest of the time really sinking into the mat, settling into your props, letting yourself fully relax into the pose. And now I'd like to offer you our first reading from the Radiant Sutras. Experience the substance of the body and the world as made up of vibrating particles. And these particles are made up of even finer energies. Drifting more deeply, feel into each pulse of energy as it condenses from infinity and dissolves back into it continuously. Noticing this, breathe easily with infinity dancing everywhere. Again, maybe these words mean something to you, or maybe you just enjoy the imagery or the sound of my voice. You have the option to stay as you are, or if you're ready to shift into our next posture, on an inhale, you can lift your seat away from your heels, coming up onto your knees. Take a moment to shift any props over to the side. And we'll start here in tabletop. So hands will be on the ground, knees on the ground. And when you're ready, on an inhale, you can lift your right fingertips up towards the sky, turning over towards the side. And then we're going to thread the needle. So take that right hand, placing it underneath your torso, between your knee and your other arm. Allow that shoulder to come down onto the mat. And you can keep that left hand planted into the mat, or you can extend it towards the top of your mat. Entirely up to you. Again, finding ways to make this more comfortable. Perhaps a prop underneath your ribs, like a pillow, a blanket under the knees, a blanket under the head. Take your time. Don't be afraid to experiment. Yoga is really all about listening to our bodies, learning what they're saying to us, and acting accordingly. Strong or soft, wild or serene, wherever breath flows, there is song. Hear its whisper touching behind the face, singing in the throat, dancing spirals in the sanctuary of your heart. In this practice of listening, a moment may come when you just want to lie down. This is a doorway, surrender, fall into the open, wide embrace of life. You are the instrument, breath is playing. All the meditations you have ever loved are vibrating in this luxurious hum. continuing even in sleep and dreams. This is your school, just you and infinity. The texture of the self is untamed freedom. You have the option to stay here, to stay where you are. Or when you're ready, on an inhale, you can extend that right arm back up towards the sky. And then plant the right hand back onto the mat, returning to tabletop. And then we'll go ahead and find that shape on the other side just to even things out. So inhale, left arm stretches up towards the sky. Exhale, threading the needle, letting that shoulder come down. You can keep that right hand where it is or extend your fingertips towards the top of your mat. It's okay if your seat drifts a little bit towards your heels here. Allow yourself to find comfort, right? Settling into this shape. The whole universe is a path of liberation, a vast arena for your endless play. Playing, let your awareness be everywhere at once. Planets, stars, swirling galaxies, subatomic motes, all are dancing within you. Enter the rhythm, descend into the space between beats, dissolve into intimacy with the dancing one. Bringing your awareness back to your breath, seeing what you notice. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, extend that left arm up towards the sky, and then allow the left hand to plant. Let's take a moment here in tabletop. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, you can lift the crown of your head towards the ceiling as your tailbone lifts and your stomach drops. Exhale, we'll invert the shape. So tuck the chin, lift the back of the heart, tailbone tucks. Just moving between this cat and cow at your own pace and with your own breath. Bringing just a little bit of movement into our practice this evening. Then when you're ready, on an inhale, you can find that flat back again. Bring your seat back towards your heels, shift your legs out in front of you, coming down to seated. And from here, you can bring the soles of the feet together. And I would encourage you to take a couple of moments and play around with moving your feet closer to your hips and then further away, finding what you think is going to be an ideal level of sensation, knowing that it's going to be different for everyone, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong, no good or bad. And when you're ready, on an inhale, find a long spine first. Pressing down through the tailbone as you reach to the crown of the head. Then as you exhale, you can start to fold forward any amount, maybe not as far as you go, maybe halfway. Then as you inhale, you might notice your body just naturally lift with your breath. Then exhale, settling down, maybe 3/4 of the way you think you could go. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, settle, maybe 7/8 of the way. Option here to place a block or a pillow underneath your head so it's not hanging in the air. Maybe you drape a blanket over your legs. It's entirely up to you. But again, remembering that in restorative, we're looking to take away effort, right? So maybe for you, that means needing to sit up taller due to tension in your back. Or maybe that means sinking a little deeper. Noticing if there's anywhere your body is experiencing tension. Maybe think about sending your breath there. As you settle into the shape, I'll offer our next reading from the Radiant Sutras. The air I am breathing was exhaled in ecstasy by an ancient sun. The earth I am standing on was born of cosmic fire. The blood flowing through my veins is as salty as the primordial ocean. The space permeating my body is infinite as the space all around. Above, below, to all sides, within. The elements of the universe are engaged in their ceremony of delight. This is my religion. The attraction between suns is the same as the love pulsating in my heart. Taking another moment to check in with your breath. You have the option to stay where you are, or when you're ready, on an inhale, slowly move up, coming back to that 3/4 place. Exhale. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale. Then inhale, coming back up to seated. Go ahead and plant the soles of the feet on the mat. Maybe take your arms out behind you and just windshield wiper your legs from side to side, offsetting a little bit of that sensation in the hips. And from here, we're going to set up for supported fish pose. So if you're familiar with this shape, go ahead and start setting up for your favorite variation. If you're not, totally fine. The most restorative option for this posture, in my opinion, and again, this is just my experience in my own body, is to take a pillow and bring the short edge of the pillow right up to your seat. Take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, allow yourself to lay down on top of the pillow. And maybe your head rests on the pillow, or maybe it falls off the back of it. That's okay. It's up to you and what's comfortable. Maybe you drape a blanket over the body here. Or maybe you don't. You have options as to what to do with your legs. You could keep soles of the feet together. You could have soles of the feet planted on the ground with bent knees, or maybe even just taking the legs long. Again, it's entirely up to you. It's about what's comfortable for you and your body this evening. Knowing that we're going to be here for a few minutes, remembering to take that first minute to settle in, to get comfortable. before eventually allowing yourself to melt into the props, to allow them to support you. Letting go of any tension in the muscles of the face, letting your jaw be soft, your cheekbones be soft, relaxing the space between the eyebrows and the eyebrows, letting your forehead relax. Thinking about letting the back of the neck soften, maybe even the throat and the front of the neck. Without giving it a story or a name, just allow yourself to notice the sensations in your body. Allow yourself to take the place of a witness, viewing with non-judgment, just feeling what there is to feel. Space is worthy of worship and wonder. It is the field within which everything exists. Rest your eyes in emptiness, inside a room, a temple, even a little jar, any contained space. Throw the one who is seeing into the center. Entrust your mind to the embrace of space. In a flash, all boundaries dissolve. You have the option to stay exactly where you are. Or if you're ready to shift, On an inhale, you can slowly roll yourself back up to seated, taking your time, eventually shifting the props supporting you out of the way. And then as you exhale, you can slowly roll vertebrae by vertebrae back down onto the mat. From here, it may feel good to pull your knees in towards your torso, wrap your arms around your shins, and just rock from side to side. Again, just finding a moment of movement within our mostly still practice. And then eventually allowing your back to completely settle down onto the mat. Just taking your time to roll down. Keeping the feet planted on the floor with bent knees. Maybe they're about hips width distance apart. Making sure that either a block, a book, or a pillow is handy nearby. And you have the option to stay exactly where you are, or placing your hands on either side of your hips. When you're ready, on an inhale, you can lift up the hips, maybe an inch or two. And then exhale, letting them settle back down. On your next inhale, maybe you come up a little bit higher. Exhale, settle. Then on your next inhale, lift up your hips and then slide either a block, a book, or a bolster or pillow underneath your seat and allow yourself to settle onto the prop. Allowing the prop to support you here in this bridge. Another option here, if this is too much sensation for you, you could always take a folded blanket and place it underneath your seat. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. This time, as you inhale, imagine your navel pushing up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, imagine the navel pulling back towards the spine. Inhale, stomach expands. Exhale, allow the stomach to settle. Breathing in and breathing out here. Taking these deep belly breaths. The light in this entire universe as permeated with divine awareness in every area of your body, your feet, your face, your shoulders, made out of divine awareness. The body of the planet beneath you, out beyond the farthest horizons, the stars and the reaches of space, all arising from nothingness. Know this and dissolve into peace. You have the option to stay exactly where you are. Remember, there's no rush. Or when you're ready, on an inhale, you can lift your hips, slide that prop out of the way. Then I would encourage you on another inhale, you can bring your knees in towards your torso. Just rock from side to side here, maybe hugging your knees in. Or you have the option here too to extend your feet towards the ceiling and reach from your the bottoms of your feet as you rock from side to side. Just resetting that low spine. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, you can let your feet come back down towards the mat. Go ahead and extend the right leg long. On an inhale, pull the left knee in towards your chest. And then as you exhale, allow that left knee to drift over the right leg towards the floor, any amount. And you can let go of that leg and allow it to find a placement that feels comfortable for you. I would encourage, if your knee is floating in the air, prop it up. Place a bolster or a block underneath it to keep it supported. Go ahead and extend your left fingertips towards the side. You can keep your gaze up towards the ceiling if you're experiencing any sort of tenderness in your neck. Or for a little bit more depth in the twist, you can look towards your left fingertips. You can have the right arm extended or the right hand gently rests on the knee. Settling into this shape. Allowing yourself to soften, to sink, to savor the words I read. Breathing is the flow of the divine, where the rhythms of life turn into each other, the eternal exchange. Pour one breath into the other, out breath into the in breath, into the out breath. Awaken to equanimity, at peace in the play of opposites. You have the option to stay here exactly where you are. Or when you're ready, you can bring the left sole of the foot back down onto the mat. Go ahead and plant the right foot next to it and just take a moment to windshield wiper your legs from side to side again. Just offsetting a little bit of that work we just did. And yes, relaxing is work. Eventually finding stillness, we'll go ahead and take that same shape on the opposite side. So we'll extend the left leg long, hug in the right knee. Right knee floats over the left leg, prop it up as you need. Finding that comfortable, sustainable place. Maybe the left hand rests on the knee as you extend the right fingertips long. Keep your gaze up towards the ceiling if there's any tenderness or sensitivity in your neck, or look towards your right fingertips for more depth in the posture. With one sweep of attention, gather in the whole universe and remember it as your body of bliss, the deep rhythms of life pulsating, stir and ambrosia flowing and overflowing everywhere. Drink the nectar of all pervading joy from the radiant cup. That is this very body. Maybe you stay exactly where you are, or when you're ready, the left sole of the foot can make its way back down onto the ground. Go ahead and plant the right foot next to it. And again, just windshield wiper legs from side to side. Finding that balance. Then when you're ready, both soles of the feet can plant again. And on an inhale, you can start to make your way towards seated, taking your time to get there, remembering that there's no rush. And from here, you have options. You can extend your legs straight out in front of you, or you can open your legs, pointing them in different directions, finding that middle ground, that middle place of sensation, We don't want our legs to be screaming at us, but at the same time, they should be saying something. Make sure your props are nearby, as you'll probably want them. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, go ahead and sit up tall. And then as you exhale, go ahead and fold forward halfway. Inhale. Exhale, finding that 3/4 place. And maybe you stay here. Maybe this is where you bring the props, putting a pillow underneath you and then maybe a blanket on top of that, so your body isn't hanging in the air. Or maybe you take another breath in. Exhale, coming down to 7/8, as far as you could go. Setting up those props in front of you any way that would best support you. Allowing yourself to sink in here. Remembering that we're going to be holding this posture for several minutes. Bringing your attention to any noises in your space. Maybe the chatter of people around you. Noises coming from outside, the wind, cars on the street. Maybe your pet walking around the room. Maybe the sound of an air conditioner or a heater in the background. Eventually, noticing your own sounds, the sound of your breath, the sound of your heartbeat, even the sound of your lungs. Allowing yourself to notice these things without judgment. There's no need to shift or to change anything. You are good exactly where you are. Remembering that not only are the props here to support you, but the earth is always supporting you. You're always in some way in contact with the earth. And every time you've stumbled, every time you've fallen down, it's been there to catch you. Allowing yourself to sink into the shape as these words wash over you. Tasting dark chocolate, a ripe apricot, a luscious elixir. Savor the expanding joy in your body. Nature is offering herself to you. How astonishing to realize the world can taste so good. When sipping some ambrosia, raise your glass, close your eyes, toast the universe. The sun and moon and earth danced together to bring you this delight. Receive the nectar on your tongue as a kiss of the divine. As you breathe here, maybe you notice the way your breath animates the posture. As you inhale, there's a natural lift as your stomach presses into the props. And as you exhale, you may notice yourself sinking a little bit deeper. Settling into the shape even more. Not forcing anything, just noticing. Just allowing the breath to do what it does. You have the option to stay here exactly where you are. Or when you're ready, on an inhale, you can come up to that 7/8 place. Exhale. And inhale back to that 3/4 place. Exhale. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale. Then inhale all the way back to seated. Shifting the props out of the way. Take a moment to plant the soles of the feet back down onto the earth, hugging the knees in. Give me just one moment. All right, hopefully no more interruptions. All right, so we'll hug the knees in, wrap your arms around your shins, and as you exhale, maybe just allow the crown of your head to touch the tops of your knees, or just to reach down towards your knees. We all have different bodies. It'll look different for each one of us. Hugging yourself in. Maybe taking a moment of gratitude for your body. Exhale. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, you can go ahead and lay back down onto the mat, stretching the arms out behind you, extending the legs long. And when you're ready in your next inhale, stretch as far as you can in opposite directions. Exhale, letting that go. Inhale, reaching. And then exhale. Let that go. Let your arms come down by your sides. And from here, I'll have you set up for a resting pose. I know a lot of these postures have felt probably pretty restful, but you have options here. I want you to get extra cozy. Not only will this posture be the last of our restorative practice, but it will also be the one you'll hold for our yoga nidra. Nidra means sleep in Sanskrit. So you really want to think about getting comfortable. Maybe a bolster or a pillow underneath the head, a blanket over the body to keep you warm. We're going to be still for a while, so your temperature may drop. Taking these next few minutes to really take good care of yourself, to set yourself up as you would a loved one, to take that much care. There's no rush. Take as long as you need. Maybe noticing your breath here, bringing it into your awareness. Remembering that you can always bring your attention back towards your breath if your mind starts to wander, or just allow yourself to focus on the sound of my voice, taking into consideration as you set yourself up that maybe you're okay with falling asleep, or maybe you want to promote a little bit more wakefulness. So maybe think about lifting your torso off the ground a little bit. So having props to support you up, thinking about keeping some sort of light on in the room, maybe allowing there to be noise, or maybe just settling in and letting what may happen happen. I'd like to offer you our last reading from the Radiant Sutras this evening. All around you, in every moment, the world is offering a feast for your senses. Songs are playing, tasty food is on the table, fragrances are in the air, colors fill the eyes with light. You who long for union, attend this banquet with loving focus. The outer and inner worlds open to each other. Oneness of vision, oneness of heart. Right here in the midst of it all, mount that elation, ascend with it, become identical with the ecstatic essence, embracing both worlds. Remember that there is no right or wrong here. Wherever you are, allow yourself to tune into my voice. You can remain still or shift as you need. You may find the practice of Yoga Nidra tense, restful, sleep-inducing, relaxing, maybe even unsettling. However you react, trust that all is well. I won't judge your response. Be kind. Do not judge yourself either. Maybe your eyes are closed. Maybe you even have an eye pillow over the eyes. Or maybe your gaze is soft. Notice where your body meets the floor. Maybe you feel yourself sinking into the floor. Now allow yourself to bring your awareness to your breath without changing it. Notice your inhales and your exhales. How does your breath animate the body as you rest? Does your stomach rise and fall? Do your ribs expand and contract? Does your heart center lift and sink? Are there any parts of you that remain still? Notice the length of each inhale and exhale. Become aware of the quality of your breath, the texture, the temperature. We cannot breathe in the past or the future. We can only breathe here and now. Taking one more breath in, one more breath out, before allowing your breath to be what it is, and turning your focus elsewhere. Start to think about what it is that you want to cultivate in your life. What is it that you are seeking to bring into your world? Whatever it may be, bring it into this moment by stating that it already exists. If you are seeking peace, say, I am at peace. If you are trying to let go of something, say, I am free. Maybe you don't know what you're looking for. Allow yourself to be open to the possibilities as we journey through this practice. Bring your attention to the back of your head, the crown of the head, the forehead, the temples, the eyebrows, the space between your eyebrows, your cheekbones, your nose, the bridge of your nose, the tip of your nose, your nostrils, your upper lip, your lower lip, the inside of your mouth, your teeth, your tongue, bringing that awareness back to your lips, down to your jaw, noticing the left side of your jaw, your chin, and the right side of your jaw. Bringing your awareness to both ears, down the back of your neck, noticing your throat and the front of your neck. Then bringing that awareness down to your collarbones, across to both of your shoulders, down to your upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, wrists, palms of both hands. the backs of both hands. Noticing your left thumb, the first finger of your left hand, the second finger of your left hand, your left ring finger, and your left pinky finger. Noticing your right pinky finger, the ring finger on your right hand, the second finger of the right hand, the first finger of the right hand, and your right thumb. Allowing yourself to be aware of both hands. Bringing your awareness back to your wrists, up the forearms, to your elbows, to your upper arms, and then to your shoulders. Allow that awareness to travel to your heart space, noticing the front and the back of the heart, the shoulder blades, the front of the ribs, the back of the ribs, the stomach, the low back, the seat, the hips, the hip flexors, the thighs, the front of your thighs, the backs of your thighs. Noticing your kneecaps, the front of your knees, and the back of your knees. Noticing your shins and then your calves. Bringing that awareness down to your ankles. Noticing both heels, the soles of both feet, the tops of both feet. And then noticing the left pinky toe. Then noticing the fourth toe of the left foot, the third toe of the left foot, the second toe of the left foot, and your left big toe. Then noticing the right big toe, the second toe of the right foot, the third toe of the right foot, the fourth toe of the right foot, and then the right pinky toe. Allowing yourself to be fully aware of both feet, being fully aware of the whole right leg and the whole left leg, being fully aware of the front of your torso and the back of your torso, being fully aware of the whole right arm and the whole left arm, being fully aware of your entire head, and then finally fully aware of your whole entire body. Notice if there's any part of you that feels heavy, dense, weighed down. Where does this exist in your body? How does this feel in your body? Taking a moment to explore that. Now notice if there's a part of you that feels light, airy, uplifted. Where can this sensation be found in your body? Where does this exist in your body? And how does this feel in your body? Can you find a border between groundedness and lightness, sinking and floating? Can you experience both at the same time? Notice if there's any part of you that feels cold, chilly, exposed to the frost. Where do you notice this in your body? How does it feel to be cold? Allow yourself to notice if there's any part of your body that feels warm, hot, sweaty. Where can you find this sensation in your body? How does this feel in your body? Is there a border that exists between the hot and cold places in your body? Can you experience both sensations at the same time? Allow yourself to recall or imagine the experience of uncertainty, anxiety. Allow yourself to be present with it. Are there any shifts within the physical body? Without attaching a story, allow yourself to witness. To witness what anxiety, uncertainty, uneasiness does to your body. Noticing that sensation before eventually letting it go. Then allow yourself to imagine or recall the experience of certainty, peace, comfort. Staying in this moment. Notice how your body reacts, allowing yourself to be the witness, to observe that comfort and peace without being changed within. Noticing what it's like to embody that feeling before eventually allowing that sensation float away. Allow yourself to journey back to the beginning of this practice, this yoga nidra. What was it that you were trying to call into your life? Has that shifted at all? Have you found some new awareness by listening to your body? Give yourself the opportunity to affirm the same intention you set at the beginning of practice, or move on towards a new guiding thought. Whatever holds true for you now, I ask that you repeat it to yourself 3 times. You are welcome to stay exactly where you are, exactly as you are. Or maybe you allow your inhales to grow a little deeper and your exhales to get a little longer. Maybe you start to wiggle your toes or make small movements with your fingers, remembering to be gentle with yourself. Take as much time as you need to return to the physical space. Maybe you slowly blink your eyes open or allow your gaze to refocus, knowing that whatever you have experienced, you have received exactly what you need. Taking a moment here to maybe bring both hands onto the stomach, or maybe one hand on the stomach and one hand on the heart. As you breathe in, notice the stomach expand. Maybe it presses into your hands. And then as you exhale, notice the stomach soften. Inhale, breathing in. Exhale, breathing out. And maybe on your next inhale, you notice not only the stomach expands, but the ribs lift. Then exhale, the ribs soften and the stomach drops. Inhale, ribs expand, stomach expands. Exhale, the ribs shrink, the stomach pulls back. Inhale, this time the stomach expands, the ribs expand, and the heart center lifts. Exhale, first the heart center drops, then the ribs, then the stomach. Inhale, stomach, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and stomach. Inhale, stomach, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and stomach. Maybe you continue with that Durga breath, that 3-part breath. Or maybe you allow your breathing to return to normal. Go ahead and take a moment here to just rock your head from side to side. Maybe shake your head yes or no. Before eventually rolling over onto one side. Taking a few breaths here. Remembering that this is the universal posture of beginning. This is where we all began. You always have the right to start again. Take a big breath in here and let that go. For eventually making your way to a seat, taking your time, remembering that there's no rush, no place to be other than here. And maybe you keep your eyes closed or your gaze is just soft. You can go ahead and bring your hands to heart center, maybe taking a small bow. Honoring all that it took for you to show up today. Honoring your body for supporting you through this practice. Honoring all the resources that you had to be here, all your props, the time, the investment. Honoring the earth on which we stand. Honoring you and all that you are. Taking a moment here to assure yourself, I am good. My body is good just as it is. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. I want to thank you all for joining me for this practice this evening. I leave you with an offering of peace. Om Shanti.